Evening peeps, good evening everyone. How's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. If you guys are new to the channel, don't forget as well to like and share the vid. All right, let's just dive straight in and see what there is to talk about. Let's start with this one. Luis Alberto Lopez versus Michael Conlan, showdown being negotiated. I like it a lot. Lopez looked very good against Warrington, very tough, very tricky, durable. Even when Warrington started to turn it up a bit, he also turned it up, so there's clearly a very good fighter there. Michael Conlan's been able to rebuild himself very well since the Lee Wood defeat. So, yeah, good fight. I think I favour Conlan, only just. He's a better boxer than Warrington, so that's going to be a completely different fight. But there is going to be a time when he has to stand and trade. That's what Lopez forces you to do, and that could be his undoing. But look, it's a fantastic fight. I like the idea of the winner of this one take on the winner of Lee Wood Lara. It could be Conlan Wood again. It could be any of those mix I'm in favour of. Although I think Eddie mentioned, I think he said this in the Kugan Cassius interview, that he wants to put the winner of Lee Wood Lara against Warrington. Either one of those are big fights, right? If it's Lara, it's the trilogy. That will always do good numbers. If it's Lee Wood, you got the Forest versus Leeds thing. For our American viewers, Nottingham Forest, Leeds United, big football clubs there, big rivalry, and they will always do good numbers. The fans will always turn up. When I say turn up, I mean 30, 40,000 could turn up. So there's options in and around that featherweight division, but look, Lopez versus Conlan is a very good fight. What else have we got here? Tank Haney has the belts, but people don't know who he is. Devon knows I'm the real champ. I don't think Devon knows you're the real champ. I think people know who Haney is. Do people know who Tank is more? Probably. I don't think it's that sort of wide between the two in terms of fan base. But look, I mean, Gervonta has a bigger fan base. The pay-per-view numbers that Gervonta puts up are very decent. You know, the funny thing is, obviously, look, Devon's undisputed in that division. But I don't know. I think if you were to poll 100 boxing fans, I wonder who they would say was the best in the division. I think it will be split. I don't think, and that's strange for an undisputed. Normally, if someone's undisputed, they're clear number one. But I don't think that's the case with Devon Haney just because of who he beat for the belts. I'm never a fan of someone winning all the belts and then someone just beating that person and then becoming undisputed, if that makes sense. I mean, George done it, but I'm always a fan of someone going around and picking up the belts like Usyk did in the cruiserweight division. You know, everyone's got a belt and you go and beat that champion, as opposed to someone does all that work and then you just come and beat them. A bit like Jermaine Taylor did to Bernard Hopkins many years ago. Fucking Bernard Hopkins picked up all the belts. Jermaine Taylor just beat him and all of a sudden he's got all the belts. But yeah, back to this Tank Haney thing. Tank said a few things about Haney. Well, to be fair, Haney said a lot about Tank, and you kind of wonder if there is a big fight brewing, maybe at 140. I don't think Haney's going to stay around for long. Look, in an ideal world, I mean, obviously we've got Ryan Garcia versus Gervonta Davis. Hopefully that fight's announced very, very soon. I do wonder if there's other stuff going on behind the scenes. But in an ideal world, you've got Ryan Garcia versus Tank. You got Haney versus Loma. Winners fight. That's kind of how it should be, right? That shouldn't be too tough to do, but boxing is boxing. I know it leaves Shakur out there for a little while, but in an ideal world, that's almost 2 semi-finals. And then whoever wins that, then you can fairly say, okay, and again, I know Shakur's out there and a lot of people think Shakur's number one, but you could say, okay, that person is the number one lightweight because of the work they've done. Right now, there's 3 or 4 names that can claim to be the best, 3 or 4. You got Shakur. I know he's just entered the division, but some will say Shakur, some will still say Loma, some will say Haney, some will say Tank, some might even say Ryan, and that's why it's a strange division. De La Hoya, Bivol is special. Zerdo froze in the big moment. Yeah, and you know why you freeze in the big moment? It's because you've not had big moments before. As much as Gilberto Ramirez was considered a big threat, you have to look down the resume, down the CV as to who he's fought. And no one, really. No one. I mean, there are a couple of names, but nothing special. So when you go in there against someone, unless you're very special and you can rise to the occasion, you will freeze because you've never been in that moment. You've never been in a moment where you are on the back foot. Someone's jabbing your head off. You've never, because you've been able to dominate because the opponents you've been fighting in the lead up to Bivol are B-level. So when you come up against an A-level guy, you're kind of like, whoa, this is nothing I've experienced before. That was his problem. Look, I think Zerdo's good, and I think Zerdo will come again. There's some talk about cruiserweight, but that jump from light heavy to cruiser's a big one. I know he's a big guy, but he's not that big. I interviewed him. I've interviewed cruiserweights who are much bigger. So it'd be interesting to see what he does and what Oscar does with him. Michaela Mayer. Baumgardner got a lot of attention overnight. Not necessarily going to be the case moving forward. I don't think she got the attention because of the Mayer win. I think Baumgardner got the attention because of that Terry Harper one. I mean, the Mayer one added to it, but I think it's the Terry Harper one where everyone was like, 1 second, who is this? Because and it wasn't even just the knockout of Terry Harper, it's everything. It was the lead up to it. She was talking so much smack. And I was like, yo, if you're talking that kind of smack, you've got to deliver. She got booed big time coming in, and then she delivered. So, and she delivered in her opponent's backyard, really. So it isn't the Mayer win. The Mayer win's added to it, but it was the Terry Harper win that I think everyone was like, okay, this girl's got something. And look, she's a beautiful girl. She's very, very friendly with her interviews, always gives people time. It all helps. It all helps. Sauerland, Callie Sauerland here. Chris Eubank Jr. is the undisputed star at the moment at 160. Look, he's good, isn't he? I don't know about that statement, but you feel like you just want to watch Chris now. You want to watch his interviews. You want to watch the behind the scenes stuff. You feel like you want to watch his fight coming up with Liam Smith. So right now he's on the ascendancy. Whether or not he's the undisputed star's another sort of discussion, but he's hot right now. He's hot, and they need to take advantage of how hot he is. I mean, if he beats Liam Smith, then it's a case of going for Golovkin. You've got to go for Golovkin. I would love the Jamal Charlo fight just because of the personalities. I think it will clash well, but I think Golovkin's the fight that can be made. I think Boxer and Sky would make a good offer to Golovkin. They'll chuck it on pay-per-view. It's a world title fight. Again, Chris is going like that. It makes sense for it to happen. All right, let's quickly talk about Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. It's not been announced, but it's all over social media. A lot of people are saying that this fight is a done deal for 154 pounds in April. Look, I've sort of said, and I've tweeted it already. You can see the thumbnail. 5 years too late. 5 years too late. It's not that I won't watch it, and it's not that you won't watch it because we're boxing fans, right? We watch what they put on. But for the fighters, this is 5 years too late. Errol Spence is clearly still a very, very good fighter. Is Errol Spence the fighter he was 3-4 years ago? I'm not sure, but Keith Thurman clearly isn't. That's, I mean, the eye test tells me that he clearly isn't that guy anymore. And I don't think he has the ambition to be that guy anymore. He's a part-time fighter. He fights once a year, if that. So he's just in it for the money grab. And look, I don't mind that. I mean, this guy's unified at the welterweight division. He's done what he needs to do. But it's just not a fight that many are screaming for. Sometimes you just got to read the room. And look, when I say 5 years too late, it's 5 years too late for a number of reasons. I've just told you about the fact that I don't think both of these guys are at their peak anymore. So it's 5 years too late for that. But it's even 5 years too late for this. I think the fight would have made a lot more money. Maybe not 5 years ago, but 4 years ago, 3 years ago, it would have been a big money fight. It would have been a big pay-per-view event. It's not that anymore. And when you think of someone like Mayweather-Pacquiao, which was 5 years too late, like 5 years prior, Mayweather-Pacquiao would have been just sensational. But in terms of money in the pocket, it actually worked out well. There was this kind of build to it. And, that's the reason it generated 4 million pay-per-view buys. This simply won't do good numbers. No one's interested in this. You can always see the reaction on social media. I think Mike Coppinger put something up and you just read the responses. And everyone's like, what? What is this? Maybe there is the hangover of not seeing Crawford, Spence. Maybe it's the thing about 154. Maybe it's the case of why is Keith getting an opportunity. But yeah, it's just a bit of a damp squid. I mean, again, yes, we'll watch it, but it will go on pay-per-view and it simply won't do good pay-per-view numbers. I always feel like boxing's so simple. Give the fans what they want and they will pay. Give the fans what they want and they will turn up. give the fans what they want, and they will tweet and sort of push the fight them yourself. Like, you don't even need to promote a fight nowadays. If you give fans what they want, they will do the promoting for you. And this fight isn't what they want. It really isn't. If I don't understand, if you couldn't make Spence Crawford, why not do Spence Jaron Ennis? He fought recently. Why not do that? Honestly, what people would go crazy for that. People would go crazy. If Spence said, you know what? Okay, you know what? Crawford, you not do it. Let me fight the young, hungry kid coming up that everyone's talking about. Give us that. Big pay-per-view numbers. I think people would buy into that. People would go, okay, Spence wants all the smoke. This is just, again, I will watch it. You will watch it. But that's not an indication of it being a good fight. That's an indication of we want to see Spence fight. We want to see Thurman fight sometimes. But it's poor. It really is. It's crazy because, again, I say give the fans what they want and they will pay for it. Look at the numbers for Crawford Avanesyan. And look, good luck to Crawford. He's one of my favorite fighters. Go and get your money. If someone is willing to pay you $10 million for that, take the $10 million. But it bombed. Like, as a pay-per-view element, it flopped. The numbers were maybe the lowest pay-per-view numbers I think I saw it something. I don't want to guess it. I think it was something like 10,000 buys. The lowest I've seen in I don't know how many years. Very reminiscent of Crawford Postal. Just low numbers because we don't want that. We don't want that. We want to see Spence Crawford. We would take Crawford Ennis, Crawford Ortiz. We will take Spence Ortiz, Spence Ennis. We'll take those. All these other combinations they're trying to chuck at us, we do not want. Simple. And I don't want to see Spence Thurman at 154. Why are they not fighting at 147? Why? I don't understand this. So the 147 champ with 3 belts is fighting another 147 pounder, former champion. But okay, let's take it to 154. If you're going to do that, vacate your belts. You must have mandatories. Vacate them. I don't understand. What we do? Are we holding up a division? Let the others fight for him. If you're fighting at 154, how can you fight at 154 when you got 3? You must have mandatories. It makes no sense. It's just poor. It's just poor decision. It's boxing doing boxing things again. Very, very disappointed. Very disappointing. And look, I've seen a few boxers actually. I think, who tweeted it? I can't remember who tweeted it, but someone's like, how does Thurman deserve this opportunity? And I agree with you. I don't know how Thurman deserves this, if I'm honest with you. But again, this is boxing, unfortunately. But yeah, it looks like we are going to get Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman this April. And again, no doubt it will be on pay-per-view at 154 pounds. I mean, is Spence going to stay there? Is that the idea? Spence is going to stay at 154 and have a run? And it will maybe see Jamal Charlo go to 160, Jamal Charlo go to 168. If Spence is doing that, cool. No problem with that because I think there are good fights for him in the 154 pound division. But look, I think he's going to bash up Thurman already, let alone at 154, where I think he's going to really bash him up. I don't know, man. Boxing. What else we got here? Anything else? Dempsey McKean, confident he will topple AJ if deal is finalised. Yeah, a lot of rumours that this is the opponent AJ will fight April 1st or sometime in April. Trains out of Brentwood, Essex. I didn't even know this at the time, alongside Tony Sims and the rest of the crew. Look, I hope not. I bloody hope not. But sometimes this is the risk you take. Like, the only thing AJ is going to get out of this type of fight is hopefully a few rounds. Dust off the cobwebs, so to speak. New trainer, maybe look a bit different, try new things. That's the reward. The risk is high. And the risk is high because you're fighting someone with almost, I don't want to say nothing to lose. No fighter goes in the ring with nothing to lose. But look, if Dempsey McKean gets blown out in a round, people are going to say they expected it. If he were to win, Jesus Christ. Even if he were to hurt AJ, Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? Even if, like, he wobbles AJ or AJ's legs do a bit of Bambi on ice, then... So AJ is just almost... When you fight a guy like this, that no one really kind of knows, you've almost got to look perfect and destroy them. Do you know? Like, you're not going to get many plaudits. This isn't a case of people are going to be clapping for AJ. This isn't it, right? This is the case of get the job done and move on to the summer. If somehow he causes you problems in any way, shape or form, then it's all backfired, hasn't it? It's all backfired. But look, I hope that's not the case. David Benavidez on Canelo Alvarez. He doesn't want to see me. It looks like he wants to see John Ryder. I wonder what, like, are they going to talk about this? Is it a done deal? Is John Ryder getting the opportunity? I'm not quite sure. I spoke to Sonny Edwards. When did I speak to Sonny? On Tuesday. What day is it today? I'm completely lost. Yeah, Sonny, I spoke to him on Tuesday. And he even spoke about the idea of Canelo versus John Ryder and him being the co-main event to take on Julio Cesar Martinez. I'd love to see that happen. Unification fight as well, that would be. But back to Benavidez. I mean, let's just Benavidez fight Plant. Like, what is going on? What is going on? I don't know. Anything else? Let's have a look. Not much else. Oh my God, I didn't even know this guy's still fighting. Rigondeaux vows to put on a show in comeback fight. Who the hell is Guillermo Rigondeaux fighting? Let's have a look and see if we can find out. He must be like 44 now, 42. Jesus. There was a time, for you younger viewers, there was a time when this man was considered a killer. Like, literally just too good, like almost too good for everyone, and too, like, just way too good. And then for some reason he decided to step up in weight and fight Loma. That was back in 2017, and it's just kind of nothing's happened since then. Lost his last fight. I haven't watched that fight. A lot of people say he might have sneaked out a draw, but lost his last fight on the 26th of February by unanimous decision. He was put down in round 8. It doesn't say who he's fighting, but he's fighting on the 24th of February. I hate to see someone as good as him still fight, because he was so good, so special. I'd rather it be done, but hey, it is what it is. I think he suffered from the fact, I think Bob Arum spoke about him not being good for TV, because he always was a bit boring, if I'm honest with you. So almost too technically good. So he looked a bit boring, but yeah, I don't know. Anything else here? All right, no, I think that is it. Very quick one. All right, guys and girls,